And I was just like, look, I got nothing in Louisiana. I'm not going back. There's nothing there for me besides my kid. I got to go make a name for myself. And so I pulled out the old road map. I said, oh, man, I'm going to drive this mother's house and knock on his door. And I'm going to ask him to train me to be a wrestler. And he's going to think that I have so much passion. He's going to say, come on, kid, put his arm around me and show me the business. I initially came to Philly first. I was going to come to Philly, train there. That's a whole big debacle. Like I got screwed over. I drove to Philly. I left New Orleans. I drove to Philly, and then there's a guy who used to work for ECW who was helping me out, and I don't think he was helping me out. I think he was just trying to take advantage of a young guy. And we know who it is. So he's been on a couple. He's known for it. So but.
If you don't want to tell me now,
I tell you, it was Rob. So like back in Rob Feinstein. So back in the day, like I would always be around helping ECW out, and I would work with Rob and sell videos and stuff. Well, initially, this is the whole story. When I was turning 18, I wanted to move to Philadelphia, and after high school, I wanted to go to Philadelphia because that was the hotbed. If you wanted to make it in wrestling, you went to the Northeast.
Right.
So my whole, but this was like ECW was shutting down or just shut down. I don't remember. And Ring of Honor was just starting up. But Rob was like, hey, well, if you come here, don't worry. I got and now you got to think I'm a kid. I have no credit, no nothing. I had like $2,000 saved up that I've been saving working in high school and working 3 jobs and stuff. So he's like, but he goes, look, if you can get to Philadelphia, he's like, I got a job for you. And I got an apartment for you. He's like, I got the hookups because he helped out all the foreign talent, like the Jerry and Super Crazy and stuff back then,
Right.
So he helped everybody with apartments. So, and I would talk to him on the phone, and Rob never tried anything on me. Never. I was around him a bunch, but the stories, whatever. But he never tried anything on me, and I always got along with him. And this is the 100% the truth. And this is where we have a falling out over this because I drove to Philly. I said, okay, I'm graduating. I'm leaving on this date. Blah, blah. Okay, keep me up there. Let me know everything's set. You're good to go when you get here. And I was friends with Doug too, Doug Gentry. So I would talk to Doug often.
Yeah.
So and I would talk to Vic, and I would talk, Dreamer. There were several guys I kept in touch with as a kid that I would talk to, and I was just trying to, get my foot in the door. So anyway, I graduated and I made all my plans, and then I called Rob. Hey, I'm leaving on this day, blah, blah, blah. So well, call me when you get here. I leave. I call him when I get there. He ignores me. So if it's night 1, I get a hotel, right? I get the Shandy Inn over on the boulevard. So I get a hotel night 1. Well, night 1 turns into 2 nights. He ignores me the second day. And I'm like, fuck, I call him 2 or 3 times. He ignores me. That never calls back or anything. So day 3, Doug calls me, and Doug goes, hey, he's ignoring you and it's fucked up. He knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like this guy. And he's like, here's his number to where he's at now. Call him at this number, catch him because he's gonna answer the phone, right? So I call Rob and I say, yo, man, what's going on? I've been trying to call you. He goes, oh man, I was so busy. I was off with my girlfriend. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, you've been fucking blowing me off, right? So I'm not stupid. And so anyway, I said, okay, well, look, I've been 3 nights in a hotel, man. It's costing me, like, I'm going to burn it. I only had $2,000 saved. So I'm like, it's burning a hole, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I need to get in this apartment. He goes, oh, man, there's tons of apartments around here. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have any credit or anything. You said you had the hookup. You had everything. Yeah, he's like, man, you gotta just have to find an apartment. I said, okay, well, all right, if I figure out a place to stay, I was like, I'll just sleep in my car, right, for now. But I was like, I need a job. You said you had a job. When can I start work? He goes, oh, that job I was gonna give you, the kid's not quitting now, so I don't have a job.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, wait, I just drove up to Philly. And that was my first time of like being my introduction to wrestling, of them saying something's gonna happen that isn't gonna happen, or being false promises.
That's terrible.
So, it sucked because you got to think I'm a young guy. I had a 1-year-old at the time, or a young son. He was young. I don't remember how old he was. He was an infant though. And then and I was just like, look, I got nothing in Louisiana. I'm not going back. There's nothing there for me besides my kid. I gotta go make a name for myself and give my kid this better life and give myself a better life, blah, blah, blah. So I had Vic's address because I used to just mail him VHS tapes to me, like wrestling, my backyard matches and my when I started actually wrestling. And he would just give me advice, you know? So I pulled out the old road map. I said, oh man, I'm gonna drive this mother's house and knock on his door, and I'm gonna ask him to train me to be a wrestler. And he's gonna think that I have so much passion. He's gonna say, come on, kid, put his arm around me and show me the business. So I didn't call Vic or nothing. I just drove straight from Philadelphia. I didn't tell nobody. I drove straight from Philadelphia to Oakland, California. I looked up Vic's address. I knocked on his door. Vic answered the door, and he knew who I was. And he said, oh, what are you doing here? I said, man, I drove out here because I want you to train me to be a wrestler.
Right.
And he looked at me. He said, you're a fucking moron. And hey, totally not what I thought he was going to say, by the way. I thought, you know.
So wait, can I interrupt 1 second? So
go ahead.
You drove from New Orleans to Philly, right?
Mm-hmm.
ECW must have been out of business by then. So
yeah.
Okay, so this is like 2001, 2002, because we went
2001. Okay,
we went bankrupt in 2001. Rob had ROH going, so you came.
It was just starting. Like I don't even know if it. Yeah. I don't even know if they had a show yet. Like it was legit. I don't, like I said, I don't remember. It was so long ago. I don't remember if they started yet. But like ECW just closed. The Northeast was still the hot spot. CZW was there. There were certain things that was going on, you know.
So you were trained, but you were still kind of green. But Rob said, you come down here and we'll get you a job as a performer. Or were
no. I was going to work for RF Video.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that way I could pay my bills and then obviously help me with training and performing and finding spots, gigs there. You know what I mean?
I'm so mad right now. And when I see him, I'm going to heal the shit out of him.
You should, because he acts like a punk bitch over it.
I'm going to
say, he won't admit it. He needs to make do. He needs to make do. He owes me.
I am so sorry. That makes me so angry because you were, I don't want to say little, but you were a kid.
I was a kid. Yeah. So I mean, but look, I had to. But you know what? Look, that's the world, you know. And then what you learn is it sucks, right? But then what I've learned, especially being in entertainment, it ain't nothing but full of false promises. You meet so many people that are just so full of shit. They lie straight to your face. They smile to your face. They hug you and lie. Look right at. They hold your shoulders and they lie right at your face. And they say, "Yeah, man, this is gonna be great." And then, you know, that's entertainment. So you learn to have those tough breaks and you make it or break it, right? I could have let that define me. I could have quit. I could have came back home and just said, screw it, I'm not going to do it. Nah, I drove my ass to Oakland. You know, I took a chance. Vic told me no, he wasn't going to train me. He said he didn't have a train. I slept in my car for 2 weeks. I stayed in front of his house. I bothered him every day. Ask him. I was persistent. I bothered him every day because I knew the wrestling in Louisiana was bad. So like I started here because it was all I had, right? It was that, and I knew these guys weren't trained. I knew the products were bad. So, and I wanted to be a star. So the only way I could be a star is if I learned from stars, and I had those people teach me. And I was small, man. I was young. I had a mouth on me. I had a loud mouth. I was fighting. You know, I get fist fights all the time. I was 145 pounds. So, but I grew up on the streets, so it was different. So I had a different life than all these, you know, punk ass dudes that were coming in and they were soft, you know what I mean? Like if you screw with me, I was gonna slap you or punch you. Like it wasn't no games. If you talk shit to me, I was gonna slap you. So like because I just had a different mentality on how I grew up. And was it the best? No. I came across and I got, you know, all the tough shit and all that stuff. But what it did was it also made people like, oh, well, this guy's a little unstable. He's a little crazy. And it wasn't, oh no, we fucked with him and we pushed him and then he reacted. It was like, oh, you see how he acts when something happens to him? You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that. I had to learn that going along in the business as I got older. Like I couldn't just sell for everybody. I couldn't just react to everything. Some people, you know, you go to some place and they wanted you to have an altercation, so they had a reason for you not to be there.
Right.
So people would try and pick one or make one, and then hey, I was never looking for one, but I was never backing down for one. So like if I walked in somewhere and somebody had a problem, I'd just be like, well, what's up, motherfucker? I got a problem too. Yeah, So
See, I'm sad. That makes me so upset. I don't like stories like that, but it did make you the person that you are today. So that's one of the positives that came out of it, because you're doing so much like stuff
more
outside of wrestling.
Yeah, and because I didn't have the success that I wanted in wrestling. I was successful in wrestling, but because I didn't have the success that I wanted or I thought I wanted, it led me down a different path, and it gave me more opportunities, which therefore provided so much more opportunities, not just for me, but for so many others, especially my community. I took this community here in Louisiana. I built up a wrestling scene. I built up these awesome wrestling shows. We have a wonderful crowd and fan base. I took these guys that went to high schools, these local schools, never had nothing. They grew up similar to me. They grew up rough lives. They grew up tough. They grew up from broken families. And I took them, and not only did they become wrestlers, but they became television stars, and they're in worldwide blockbuster films. And, they're doing these remarkable things. They get to go to the movie theaters with their kids and watch themselves on the TV screens. And I would have never, if I would have got signed by WWE or something, I would have never been able to do that. I would have never transferred into that role. So, I am thankful at the end of the day that my path has led me to where it's led me.
Hey there, it is the Queen of Extreme, Francine from ECW. Do you want to see more of me? Click over here to watch another video, or click over here to listen to my podcast. And as always, thank you for your support.